we're keeping an eye on this as we bring in Democratic strategist Christy Setzer, along with Republican strategist Mercedes Schlapp. Welcome. And we should, right off the bat, and I'll begin with you, Christy, ask this question. What specifically does Al Gore bring for Hillary Clinton at the moment? Is there a group of voters? Is there somebody that she hopes that he connects with that she doesn't have already?
Yes, and the answer is millennials. You have to remember that the one thing that that really killed Al Gore in 2000, and I remember it more than most because I worked in this campaign for a year and a half, was the fact that just enough people went third party to keep the race so close between him and George Bush. And so he remembers it quite painfully as well. Right now, millennials are not deciding between Trump and Clinton. They're deciding between Clinton and third party or Clinton and not voting. So he is there with one very express purpose. It is to remind millennials that it is too important to not vote, and it's also too important to vote third party. That's why he's there.
Listen, we're all getting older. He's 68, so I guess I just need to press you here on how he somehow speaks with a different voice to millennials.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, the truth is that they probably know him as an important voice on climate change more than they actually do as the guy who won the popular vote and yet somehow didn't become our president. Yeah. So I do think that he has sort of a moral authority there on that issue, which is incredibly important to them and which is one that resonates with them very much, and on which Republicans seem extremely out of touch by denying the science of climate change.
And he won the Nobel Peace Prize. He's won an Oscar, so that perhaps brings in different groups of people. Mercedes, from where you sit, what does Al Gore do? Does he help? Does he hurt?
Well, didn't you know that being 68 is like being a new millennial age? Come on. But I really don't feel that, it's not that he helps or he hurts. I just view Al Gore as just a name from the past. Yes, he does talk about climate change. I don't think that there's a direct connection there with millennials. I think Bernie Sanders actually is a much better surrogate.
Who's 74.
Exactly. So he's the new millennial age. I think he's more effective at connecting with millennials for the Democratic Party. I even think President Obama and Michelle Obama do as well. So I don't know why they've decided to bring in Al Gore. I think he must have just been quite bored, not really not knowing what to do. So why not bring in another surrogate for the Democrats?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump right now, because he's been tweeting quite a bit over the past couple of hours, taking swipes at John McCain, calling John McCain foul-mouthed. He is really taking aim at Speaker Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House, who has said, of course, yesterday that he was not going to be helping the campaign at all. He didn't disavow Donald Trump, but he said, I'm focusing now on the down ballots. Donald Trump put out this tweet, specifically calling Paul Ryan our weak and effective leader, saying he had a bad conference call that was with a lot of Republicans where his members went wild at his disloyalty, meaning he's not supporting Donald Trump. But regarding Donald Trump and what he has said about Bill Clinton and the affairs and women, I want to play a soundbite that happened, and it was a very interesting one. It was Jerry Falwell Jr., who has supported and does continue to support Donald Trump. He was on with Neil Cavuto on Cavuto Coast to Coast earlier. Here's what he said about Donald Trump specifically going after Bill Clinton.
Trump needs to stay focused on the issues and not get sidetracked. Don't attack, no matter how bad the establishment Republicans are, no matter what they do to him. Don't attack Hillary in the ways that he did in the first debate, and stop talking about Bill Clinton's past indiscretions.
Okay, so that's from a very conservative Jerry Falwell Jr., Mercedes. Donald Trump, will he listen? This is a supporter. This is somebody who's sticking by him.
Look, I feel that Donald Trump, he feels like he's under attack by not only the Democrats, but by some members of his own party. And when Donald Trump gets attacked, he punches back. And I think it's been very disappointing to see certain members of the Republican Party decide that they are not going to support their nominee. I think that the ultimate goal should have been to defeat Hillary Clinton, and it creates greater division amongst our party. The one thing that the Democrats really do effectively is they stick together, despite the fact that, for example, in the case of Bill Clinton, he was impeached, disbarred, had to pay fines for his sexual scandals. They all stood by him. I think for Republicans, Donald Trump has apologized because of the video, because of the tape, and I think it's very unfortunate that the parties decided that they're just they've decided that they're going to not support the nominee.
And one quick footnote here. It appears that Billy Bush, the anchor of Access Hollywood, who was on that tape with Donald Trump, is working on an exit package with NBC, so it is definitely possibly hurting his job prospects. As we finish out, Christy, if we can just dip back into the picture of Hillary Clinton, and you can see over her shoulder Al Gore is teeing up to speak. We'll take it when it happens, but what does he need to say? You know, Florida was that state that just didn't come through in the end for him, and it was a very complicated relationship in the beginning with Hillary Clinton. I guess not so complicated that he doesn't want to get out there now and help the party.
I think it is probably still a complicated relationship, and I also think that he's fairly retreated from politics and political life in general. And the reason that you are seeing him out here right now is because Gore is taking the stance that a lot of Republicans have, frankly, those who have broken with their party to come and either support Hillary Clinton or at least say that they're not going to support Donald Trump. His line is, it's too important. It's too important to stand on the sidelines this time.
Good to see both of you. Christy Setzer, Mercedes Schlapp, again, as soon as Al Gore begins to speak. And we're curious. We want to hear what the former vice president has to say. First time. What's newsworthy about this is that he has come out to support Hillary Clinton. Hasn't happened yet during this entire cycle. So keep it right here on Fox Business.